Hi guys, for those of you that don't know, I'm Crystal Hutchins. Today I'm going to talk about why it's so challenging to be on the planet right now. As if I have some, insight for you. I don't know. I'm going through it just like everybody else, so part of why I do these videos is because I feel like when you know that there's someone out there who's dealing with the same experiences as you, it can soften it to know that other people are, also in the mire with you. We're in the muck. We're all in the thick of it. It's super challenging to be on the planet right now for anyone because, well, I could list off a lot of things here, but the energy is just shifting exponentially as a collective conscience. We're striving for a better vision of what we can do with this experience. I mean, it's a powerful experience. You can't deny that. The challenge for people like me and you, if you're watching this, I'm sure you were drawn here for a reason. Crystal children, indigo, starseeds, whatever you want to identify yourself as, you're here on the planet you have a mission, and you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle because we're all here doing this together as a collective soul group. It's hard to put into any kind of verbalization the experience that's happening to us right now if you've seen outside of the matrix. Because even if you have, and even if you have a concept, even a small awareness of what your mission here is, you still have to work inside of this system, and the system, we all know, is flawed. Nobody can look around at planet Earth and all the things that are happening right now and go, oh yeah, everything's great. But in order to change things to be what we want them to be, you have to hold a level of positivity and the vision. So to not succumb to all the trauma, drama, and insanity that's going on right now, you almost have to do this like fake it till you make it type of mental, emotional standpoint, because we know it's all fucked up. And some of us even realize how simple it would be to change if only people were willing to become aware. But the problem is, we're so immersed in the mirage, what I sometimes call the matrix, which is basically just my way of saying, this reality is a creation of our imagination. It's a very powerful, obviously, a very powerful exploration of what the mind of the universe is capable of. But it's still not real. It's not who we are. Who we are is this energetic presence of knowingness through the time and space of, just countless eons we can't even imagine, that the higher mind has conceived of itself since its initial awareness. It always knew it was this amazing, powerful thing, but it wasn't able to look upon itself without splitting into gazillions of tiny pinpoints of light. And that's what we are. We are each a pinpoint in the entire mind of God, I like to call it. I don't like to alienate people by using that word, but the universal mind, the concept of all that is, whatever you want to call it, it's experiencing itself through us. So we each on our own and collectively are evolving this knowingness through having experience. What's happening right now is we've been in this state of confusion and lack of understanding for so long that as people begin to become more aware, or wake up, some might say, or just begin to have memories of, not even necessarily a memory, just like this knowingness that you're here for a purpose. As this begins to happen, there's just this like deep internal eons old sadness for having chosen the experience of the ego and what that means to, like, what it means to have chosen to separate yourself from the entire creative force that you sprung forth to begin with, that you sprung forth from to begin with. But we did it on purpose. We did it to have this experience, to become a greater version of ourselves. It's hard to put, you have to understand, it's really hard to verbalize these concepts when you're dealing with things that actually don't make sense in linear time and 3D dimensional reality. So, I mean, God, is it any wonder, like, we just break down crying sometimes, knowing, like, how much pain and suffering is going on here? Because, I mean, the bottom line main reason is we've separated ourselves from our creative power. And it's purposeful, so you wouldn't call it negative or positive, but just because it's purposeful doesn't mean it's easy to accept, because as we're starting to become aware and remember our creative power that we set aside, we feel very stuck because we've separated ourselves for so long that we don't remember how to use our natural creative power. So we're in a state of what can really basically be termed brainwashing. And it's not our fault. We were born into the system. Outside of the system, it's easy to see how to change, but once you get here, you have this enormous obstacle of being in physicality and not remembering how to use your gosh. I feel like I'm struggling here to say what I want to say because it's just so much. it's sometimes so difficult to even conceptualize, let alone put into words. But we are not these limited beings. We aren't, you know, we're not meant to strive to stay alive, to do things we don't want to do, to make money, which is pretend, to do jobs we hate, to collect and gather items that we don't need. That's not what we're here for. So we're basically brainwashed and trapped into this glamorized version of what's good. Like, I mean, turn on the TV at any given moment and you'll be assaulted with visions of what you're supposed to be wanting and going after and striving for. Nobody ever takes the time to just sit down and be quiet and wait for that chatter that's going on in your brain to settle so that you can hear that creative voice, the love that exists through time and space and eternity that's here to support you in every way. So we get caught up in these little dramas, in these relationships, in these power struggles, in these issues that aren't real. And they're serving a purpose, but to be caught up in the illusion, that's what's causing the sorrow. At the very center of your being, which is just a pinpoint of light, driving this little body like a car. You're not the body, you're the light. You're the love, and you're the source of everything. And when you're mentally separated from that knowingness, you can only create painful situations. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm still learning everything as I go. I've watched myself become very good at manifesting, to become very aware of what's going on here. But I'm still in the matrix, and I'm still in the same illusion as everyone else. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to communicate at all. So it's a trade-off. You can rise above this and ascend off the planet, but when you do that, you know that you're leaving everyone here to just continue to struggle. So there's this trade-off that we're doing. We have agreed to do this because we're in love with this place. We love this planet, we love its beings, and we came here to assist. It's easy to forget because you get caught up in survival of keeping this body alive. It may be just an imagination, but it seems very real. So, the challenge of balancing the knowingness with the mission, if you're even lucky enough to discover it, it's impossible to put into words. I'm sorry. I just want everyone out there who's struggling to know that your struggle is not going unnoticed. You're being helped in so many ways by so many guides and angels and just countless entities you can't even imagine who are so in love with us and want to see us succeed. Just try to give yourself the space and the time to channel that, because even if it's drawing a picture in the sand that's going to wash away with the next wave. You're here to use your creative power. You're here to learn about your creative power. You're here to become better at using your creative power. And the better we get at using it, the sooner we're going to start to use it in the most amazing ways that we can't even remember we came here to do. So I'm sending you love, and just know that there's other people here with you. It's gonna be awesome eventually.